start 2 minutes before we officially started.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Hello?
Hey, can hear you now.
Oh, thank God. Okay. Sorry, hold on. I gotta mute my other side. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, you guys there? Hello?
Yes.
Ashley's gonna get a whole bunch of people here now.
Okay, I'm good. As long as I've got this back up and all working, we're good. I've got YouTube live.
Cool. Let me go get some water real quick.
All right, now I'm gonna mute here, guys. Go ahead and talk just so I know I'm functioning. I'm gonna go do my thing on the media side. Right. So good luck. I look forward to watching it afterwards.
Okay. I'll be right back. I'm just going to give it about 3 minutes here, and then we'll just start soon after. You guys are able to see my screen okay? Yes.
Yeah. Sure.
Yep.
Cool.
Jen, how's the volume on YouTube? Is it okay?
Don't talk for a second so I can unmute it. Give me a minute to double check that. All right, guys, talk on the other side.
Hello.
Hi, Jen.
I think the feedback's pretty good. What do you guys think?
I need to figure out how to do this the best way possible.
Could you guys hear me talking like triple there?
I can only hear you talking once, but I only have the call up. I don't have anything else up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Poor Ashley.
Here, I'll do this.
What'd I do? Why poor me?
I figured you were hearing me in triplicate over there.
I don't think so. I actually have the sound on my PC muted. So
oh,
that way
no, I thought my thing was picking it up, the feedback, because I unmuted both my sides with my mic hot.
Oh, whoops.
All right, so I've got a total of 3 people watching us. All right.
Are they all us?
Give me a second. I can tell you. Whose screen am I looking at the desktop audio thing from? Is that yours, Ashley, or his?
That must be his, because he's also got OBS up and running.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I'm like, wait a second, why am I seeing OBS in the screen?
No, that's just me.
You guys realize I'm gonna have to back it out of this video.
Say that again.
the back crud out of this video.
Oh, do you want me to take it on?
No, I'm saying the talking. I mean, never mind. It works. It's funny. I'm sorry. I'm talking about our commentary. I can't. The feed to Twitter is not going for some reason.
I think I'll be okay. I guess people will know that I stream D&D now because I have all of this stuff going on. But that's okay. Are you ready to get started?
I am. Go for it.
Okay, cool.
Oh, we just got somebody. So you probably want to introduce. Start. Sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm John.
Hi, John.
Well,
Hi, John.
Hi, welcome. Oh, you are just about ready here to start. Just go ahead and do me a favor to just mute your mic while we get started, and then I'll just put an intro or something.
1 sec before we do start, you guys, I want to just make sure you all know that we are doing this live on YouTube, so keep that in mind when you ask your questions.
Okay. All right. So, you ready, Ashley?
Go for it.
Cool. My name is Lito. This is a presentation of veteran entrepreneurship on behalf of Operation Code. I was asked to do this, and it's been something that I've been meaning to do for a while. As I kind of tell a lot of my other peers and those that I share correspondence with, I still don't think I'm qualified to give a talk on this, but I do this enough, and I go through the process of actually having a business and owning a business that I believe it would be beneficial for you guys to see what resources I've utilized or the things that I have done to go through this process, post-military, or for those of you who are just, really interested in what entrepreneurship is all about, coming from the perspective of a veteran, or maybe if you are affiliated with a veteran organization. So let's get started. These are going to be the topics of discussion. I could do this as a slideshow, but honestly, I'm just going to keep sliding it down. Who I am, the resources available, what is an entrepreneur, why be one, when that happens, how, when, and why do we fail, because failure is probably the biggest portion of entrepreneurship that you're going to come across. And then we'll talk about a little bit about my businesses, the resources again, just to wrap it up, and then a couple of bonus things at the very end. Okay. So I'm actually just going to put this full screen for now and go from here. Okay. Oh, you're going to see all of this, aren't you? You're not just going to see the slideshow. Stand by. Display settings. Small presenter and slideshow view. Yeah, I am just going to go do it like this because PowerPoints plus Slack is not going to do much justice. So, who am I? Again, my name is Lito Villanueva, veteran of the Air Force. I separated back in 2011. Been doing IT in and out of the military. Since then, I've had 3 deployments overseas to Afghanistan and a bunch of other areas. I've worked with Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, various 3-letter agencies, Joint Special Operations Command, you name it. If they've been overseas, I've probably supported their internet at one point. My primary function at the time was network engineering. In layman's terms, what network engineering is managing the internet. So the internet of all of the operators overseas or military, DoD, ISAF, NATO, all of those guys, we worked harmoniously as best as we can with getting everybody the proper internet access that they need or proper network access they need, whether that's secure or non-secure. So that's my line of work. You can just look at me up on LinkedIn if you want. I rarely use it, honestly, but it is a good way to connect with me professionally if ever I check it. There's a lot of old information there, and I put that in my little about me, how I've kind of transitioned out of the defense industry and into entrepreneurship. But sometimes it's very hard to get away from. But anyway, that's about me. For now, the moment in which I decided to move into the field of entrepreneurship was in the summer of 2016 when I had left that field or left that industry and decided to do my own thing. So we're going to start there, and I'll talk about from that point on into the future here just a little bit. Resources. This is important for you as an aspiring entrepreneur or somebody who may want to start their own business at this point. We're going to just briefly cover this for now. We're going to skip it. Most of this comes from the Small Business Administration Center, the SBA, and all of that kind of just falls underneath. And all of that kind of there falls underneath. So, give me 1 second and slide. If I do like, yeah, see, I can't do. There's a little bit of slide transitions that I tried, but don't even worry about it. Let's just answer the question. What is an entrepreneur? Let's just answer the question. What is an entrepreneur? From Wikipedia. An entrepreneur is a person who organizes and operates a business or businesses taking on a greater than normal financial risk in order to do so. And again, layman's terms, I think it's a hustler. I think it's somebody who is an expert at one thing, or more than likely a generalist at many other things, because you'll be wearing a lot of hats as you go down this path. After that, you are a person who is a leader, a person that's somebody that others will follow. That's a big part of it. I mean, hiring and firing is going to be a huge portion of starting a business, and you really want to ensure that whatever you're doing, you have an awesome group of people that have your back and can cover all of the faults that you may have. And lastly, a person that understands and manages risk. We're going to talk about this extensively, but as of now, really your risk aversion or the level of risk that you are able to take on your person is almost directly correlated to how much risk you are willing to be involved or the risks that you're willing to take in your business. Okay. If there's any questions, just let me know and just put that into Town Hall. Okay. So when do you become an entrepreneur? The first one, and is the one that I went through, was a moment of entrepreneurial seizure. The moment the entrepreneur decides it would be a great idea to start his or her own business. Now, one of those reasons that I started my own was honestly thinking like, wow, all this stuff that's going on around me can be done better. And how do I make it better? Like, I'm pretty sure I can do this myself and create like actual change in the enterprise that I was working on. Mine at the time was networking, it was in IT. And I was like, I really believe that I can do something better. Another moment in time is your transitionary period. Maybe you separate from the military, you're retired, and you're looking for something else to do in your path in life. And maybe you want to just try something new. And honestly, I think that would be a great time to do so. And then also academia. For those of you who are much younger or are going back to school, going to post-secondary education, go ahead and do it. They have degree programs now to become entrepreneurs. The one that I'm associated with is UNLV, University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And I know like USC has entrepreneur programs too, and a lot of Cal schools have it. And I'm not familiar with a lot of the other rubrics that they have in a lot of other states, but I'm sure they're all moving towards that modality of that level of business. All in all, though, at the very end of the day, when really doesn't matter. You just have to ensure that if you do decide to go down this path, you continue going with it. Give me a second. What are my thoughts on Gary V? Gary Vaynerchuk, I believe, right? I'm not even gonna lie. I've heard of his name multiple times, and yet I still haven't had the opportunity or like the chance to just like watch any of his stuff. I don't have a lot of time to watch things. I'm much more of a reader just because I can do it faster. But yeah, I've heard good things about him. I just haven't had the time, man. Thanks for the question, Doug. I think he's the same like mind frame of entrepreneurship, and I know he's probably featured on like entrepreneur.com, but those are the resources that I don't use, and again I'll try to go over the resources that I've used later on. I have a couple slides for that. and then I'll just present this PowerPoint later. Okay, so why be an entrepreneur, right? Why would you even want to go down this path in the first place? Why not just be happy with the 9 to 5, or like figure out a different way without having to start a business in order to accomplish your goals. And I've listed a series of pros and cons here. And I've put them together because for me, what my pro for it might be a con for you. You know what I'm saying? And the first and foremost is your own schedule. And like, you are your own boss, right? Like, that's what everybody assumes is the reason why you want to do this. And actually it is one of the reasons why I do it. I'm a habitual night owl. Like, I love working, in the middle of the night in peace and quiet, and it doesn't agree with the rest of the world. And I guess that's just something that I realize I can do better when I have my own thing, or I can do it my own way. 9 to 5's never really worked for me. I've loved working graveyard shift, and I think that just follows me being in IT all of my life. But having my own schedule, it had really, was one of the big points also of why I wanted to go down this path. The second thing is that nobody can tell you what you can do, right? Like, you are, again, the boss. They can advise you, and you should probably listen to them, because they're going to be experts in their field. If it's marketing, if it's IT, if it's, I don't know, distributed ledger, or whatever else it can be. They've been doing this for the years, and you can take in that advice, but you can also pick and choose and figure out the direction for your own life and for your own company. Another pro is that you have to wear, or a con for many of you. Again, I spoke about this earlier, whether or not you are an expert or you are a generalist, you have to wear many hats. Okay, like, you have to wear many hats. You are the finance person, you are the marketing person, you are your UI person, you are the technological and research development innovator. You are the business liaison, you make customer segments, you hustle, you got to make sales, you got to do everything. And if it sounds like it's a lot to deal with, it is. But if you look at that and you say, wow, that sounds really fun, then go for it. I mean, honestly, I have a team myself, and they watch my back of all the things that I can't do, like product design or the artistic talents. But they also believe in my mission. But we'll talk about this portion later. But they believe in me enough for the ability that I have to do what I need to do, and I trust them enough so that I can take off maybe 1 or 2 hats and just let them do it. This is why you want a team. I think Conrad put it as the bus driver effect. Like, if you get run over, then there's other people that can run the business for you. But anyway, at the very moment in which you're still starting it up, there's really a lot that goes on that you have to be able to manage. You constantly have to learn. You constantly have to learn. There is no going around it. I mean, I've learned more in the past 6 months trying to ship a product than going to school. And I'm not hating on school, because there's a lot that you can learn from upper academia, and one of my mentors is out of UNLV. But it really does feel like every day is a challenge, or at least every week, if I haven't learned something new, that means I have just procrastinated my ass off, and I know that I'm not going to survive. You know what I mean? Like, the pressure is on you now. There is no just being a cyclical employee in the middle of a big machine where you can just get by. Like, you have to do work, and you have to execute on the things that actually matter. I have a lot of great resources that can just cover all these things, but again, learning what is priority and constantly learning what is needed in the business to have it run has been an exciting and awesome, and I have really strong love-hate relationship with running a business, but I really do like it at the very end of the day. And it kind of falls into the next bullet point right here, which is your own schedule is work. Like, it is your schedule. You can say when you want to work, but most of the time, 80% of the day is going to be work, and 20% of it's going to be going out and having fun. And hopefully you can work that in. You can slowly work in, like, okay, I can go make a 2-week business trip to Silicon Valley and also see my family, or also see my friends and see all these things as you work those in, because you will literally just burn out if the entirety of what you're doing is work. But just know that work is going to be you're going to have to self-motivate at this point. Second to the last one, you make your own team. Okay, like I said, like I have my own team who, you know, have been with me basically since day one of this. When I originally set out to create the business, and I'll talk about my businesses here in a little bit. And you can figure out whether or not, you know, it'll work, and you just have to. God, I don't even know how I can describe making my own team. It's one of those things that you're just going to have to learn from experience, really. Like knowing, even there is no rubric at this point of what you're going to need. Like there's things that I learned that I knew I needed running a business. Like I know I need somebody who's more personable than I am, you know, like who is easier to talk to when it comes to informing people of what we're doing. I know I need a better technical expert when it comes to programming or software engineering or software development. I also know I don't know everything about networking of where we're going into the future as we grow, or sales channels or advertising. Hell, I learned about ad copy last week, or yeah, everything outside of the internet is still like outside of my purview, and being able to kind of like admit to your team that you're able to do like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing here. Please help me out. And if they believe enough in the mission that you're doing, more than likely they'll come on board. And I'll talk about this again in a little bit more when we talk about known unknowns and unknown unknowns, Rumsfeldian business planning. Anyway, lastly, probably the most important and divergent pros and cons of being an entrepreneur is that everything relies on your executive decision. Okay, like when you say something, or when you write something, or when you do something, the future of the organization depends on you. It depends on whatever you just said. So whether you fail, it's on you. Whether you succeed, it's also on you. There is no more, I have to wait for someone else to get something done. There's no more, I can hide behind another business entity or another figure and saying like, oh God, you know, and now it's the point where you actually take responsibility for your own actions. And that's what I love about it, where I can really decide my own future. Yeah, being an entrepreneur is awesome. It also sucks, but anyway. Failures. This is probably, if I had started this knowing exactly where I would fail, I would have such a much better perspective of how to actually approach the situation. Failure is an inevitability when it comes to entrepreneurship. The entrepreneurial seizure that I spoke about earlier is an entrepreneurial fallacy. Okay, it's when someone believes. Let me just read it verbatim. When one believes that knowing how to do work of a business is all one needs to understand in order to start and grow a business. And here's a good example. I am good at IT functions. Oh, that means I can run an IT company. Wrong. Completely wrong. All right, doing network engineering, you can have as many certifications as you possibly can have when it comes to doing IT work, and you are technologically brilliant. But if you're trying to talk to somebody and like inform them of what you're doing from a human level, or like trying to make a deal, or like trying to figure out how to work QuickBooks, man, like there are a lot of things that you realize you were like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? All right, like this is the point where you're like, oh, what the heck is going on? What the heck? Like I did not realize it was going to be this hard. All I wanted to do was talk to somebody. You'd be like, hey, this is what I do. I can make your business grow because of this function. Give me money. You know, it's not like that. You have to inform them. You have to educate them on what you are doing. You have to sell yourself and sell your business to somebody else so that you can get money. There's a lot. There is a lot that does not there's a lot that doesn't get told to you that this would actually occur. All right, so that's the biggest, that's probably one of the biggest ones is entrepreneurial seizure. It doesn't get talked about a lot, but I think a lot of the people who've gone through this know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the same thing with like imposter syndrome. It's only once you've gone through it you realize, okay, crap, this has gotten a lot more difficult. My to-do list has gotten out of control. you know, 9 months ago, I had so much free time. You know, I had so much free time that it felt like, oh God, how am I going to fill my week with stuff that I need to do? Now it's like, oh my God, how do I find the energy and the time to handle all of these things? And at some point you're not, and you're going to have to hire people, but hiring people requires money, and having money requires having a good product or a good service. And then it's a good cycle. All right. Anyway, the failure is in 2 pages. All right. So let's talk. Let's move on. Lack of sales and a lack of funding. Money is the lifeblood of an organization. That is the bottom line. Okay. I'm not a very good salesman. If I need to close a deal, it is very hard for me to do so. Okay. This is true for business relationships as well as personal romantic relationships. Okay. It's very difficult for me to pull the trigger. I know where my weaknesses are and I'm working on it. However, I also know that at some point I'm just going to go hire somebody to do it who also believes in the mission, because it's really hard. It is really, really hard. And I say a lack of sales and a lack of funding only because, and sales is in, let me make that as bright as possible here. Because sales is the #1 best way for financing. And we can get into funding, like the Silicon Valley startup life that you might think of like seed funding, Series A, Series B, Series D, so and so and so and so, or you can just go and make a sale, you know, or you can just get some money already, so you can continuously have the liquidity and the oil to keep your machine running. Okay. The second point of failure, the lack of market. No one knows about your product or service. No one cares about your product or service, and the economy doesn't understand the need, or you just have really bad timing. Okay, these are failures that you have to address before you even set out when you create your business plan of why now is a good time to do so. Right? Let me write that in there. Why now? Why is it now that you think that your business is going to be successful? Okay. Again, when you start becoming an entrepreneur, it doesn't really matter. But when you start actually having a business and trying to grow, there are a lot of factors. Excuse me. There are a lot of factors out of your control that you have to be aware of. Lastly, on this page is going to be the lack of technology or the lack of innovation. And I have a really big gripe with this, like almost like a pet peeve, because the word disruption is kind of like on the tip of the tongues of everybody in Silicon Valley or everybody in that space right now. Oh, be innovative, be disruptive. Like, that's great and all, but if all you're doing is the same thing with like one iteration different than the other person who's down the street from you, like, where is the actual innovation there? Like, the best example I can think of right now is blockchain. You know, like, oh God, let's put everything on the blockchain. You know, distributed ledger trust, zero trust blockchain. Oh, we're gonna innovate the financial sector with it. Like, where is the actual innovation in that? You know what I mean? Yeah, there's so much other things that could be done outside the scope of just software engineering. Like, there is manufacturing with robotics. There is agriculture with hydroponics, aquaponics, and aeroponics. There is space. You know, like 12 to 15 years down the road, I hope we can get to space. We have a small business innovation research grant that I'm hoping to write. I'm actually hoping to hire somebody so that I can ask her to, like, help me write this, please. She's out of she has a master's from AFIT, so I'm like, come on, homie. But anyway, that's like all of these things about technological innovation where I really feel like you don't need to go to Silicon Valley or be in some sort of Bay Area startup to see where that value comes from. You can be anywhere in the world to do this. And the only reason why I can say this is if I mean, I went to Vietnam. I went to Ho Chi Minh City in fall of 2016. I was trying to clear my head. I just had this really, really bad breakup. But I was there and I went to a co-working space. If you don't know what a co-working space is, it's basically a space you can rent out to, like, do work. A lot of people who like work who work sales or just who work front end UI stuff can just basically travel the world and like do this work from anywhere. But co-working spaces is where you can just like hang out and chill. There's a lot in the Bay Area. There's a couple here in Las Vegas that I'm quite fond of. But I was in a co-working space in Ho Chi Minh City, in Saigon, in Vietnam, and they were looking for PHP developers there. You know what I mean? And they're looking for front end web developers. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like, this is amazing. This is the reach of globalization nowadays. You can have an entrepreneur from literally anywhere. Okay. There's a couple of questions on there. Let me finish up on the second portion of failure, and I'll answer them. Okay. So part 2 of failure, the lack of flexibility. In my opening documents, in the business documents that I created for my business at the start of the year, kind of just hey, this is where we are, this is where we're going. These are our current problems, and this is how we're going to solve them and how we get there. This is something that I know is important for the overall health of a business. So I kind of gave that to my team. I told them at the very beginning when I asked them to join my organization, hey, please be flexible with me. Like, I know nothing. Okay, like that was literally my first statement. If there's one thing I know absolutely nothing. Right? I know nothing about business. I know nothing about what it takes to run a successful organization, other than what I've heard from other people who've been placed over me that I just follow. You know, my old bosses or my old colonel, old general, whatever. I look to them, and I do a lot of reading, basically. But please be flexible with me. There are a lot of things that I don't know and that you don't know, and the direction that I'm giving you when I say, hey, we need to 3D print something that's 10 millimeters smaller in diameter. That's just interpretation of feedback that I'm getting from my customer. But I honestly don't know if that's going to be successful. So let's figure it out as we go. We have a plan. It's a shaky plan, but understand that there's going to be a lot of copy paste deleting and a lot of eraser marks. Okay. Second, this kind of falls into the whole idea of flexibility, is the Rumsfeldian risk planning. And I only brought this up because some guy named Rumsfeld kind of put it all together. Known knowns, known unknowns, and unknown unknowns, where the known knowns are the easiest portions to talk about, right? And the ones that are in your purview. Hey, I can do IT work. I have $20,000 to work with. I have $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 to work with. Now it's more like 20,000 left. But I can do this much amount because this is where I'm at. Like, okay, cool. Next, your known unknowns. Okay, I don't know how to make a hiring rubric. I don't know if the market is absolutely ready for this. I don't know if, I don't know if I can find people within my physical location to fulfill the job roles and the job functions that I need. I don't know how long it's going to take for me to land a contract, but you at least have some concept of that. The ones that are going to kill you are the black swans, right? These are your unknowns. These are the ones that are way beyond your scope of knowledge, that they will blindside and hit you in the truck, and they suddenly become your priority. Everything that you are currently working with, like a P equals NP equation. Let me move this real quick. Like, everything is in P right now. Like, okay, everything here is a priority, and then next thing you know, wham! Oh shit! Excuse my language. How do I fire somebody? How do I break up this relationship that I had, with somebody because they weren't doing the work, or maybe they're stealing from me, or maybe something else is going on. Like, you don't account for these variables at all. Somebody gets injured on your job, and now they have a claim of workers' compensation. How am I supposed to pay for that, right? Like, these are things outside of the scope of your knowledge. Oh, wait, what? Insurance? If somebody was driving my vehicle while on contract, and they're claiming that vehicle was for work, do I as a business owner have to pay them? Like, a lot of things that go on. A personal unknown was like, I didn't realize a friend could break up their friendship with you. I'm in my mid-20s. I'm 27 years old. Like, I didn't know you could do that. And that was devastating, but not in the scope of entrepreneurship, but maybe it is. Like, I didn't know you could just be like, hey, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that. But those are those types of black swan events that you realize, like, you didn't realize on the onset how difficult it was going to be. My co-founder, William Davis, he told me his black swan event. We went through this with my team. I was like, what were your unknowns last year? And he told me that moving was a unknown for him. He didn't realize that, going to work while having to move your stuff to a new apartment is going to take so much time and so much energy out of your body that, like, everything else is just like gets affected, right? So yeah, unknowns and knowns are some things that is a glaring problem in the failure of a company, and probably in personal failure as well. But this points back up to being flexible. You have to be flexible with this. You can't just beat yourself up the entire time. You have to keep going. I know some people that just can't. And it's very challenging. Let me grab a drink real quick, and I'll start answering a little bit of questions. Where's my coffee? Stand up. Am I going to hire someone to pull the trigger in personal relationships? Honestly, I just let them. I just stare at them until they figure out I like them a lot. Hey, I like you. No, I'm just kidding. First question: as the leader of your team, how do you start your mornings to make sure my day goes well? Okay, so as I kind of said earlier, I am a night owl. I'm very much a night person. The rest of my team are mixed in between. It's about half and half. Some of them are morning, some of them are night. But what I do is, because I don't wake up until basically like 10:30 in a good day. If I have morning appointments, which I try not to do, but I try to have like a 10 a.m. appointment at the earliest, and then just move on from there. I give them what I need done in the best platform that they reply to the day before. So 3 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m. in the morning, whenever they get it, it's fine. I say, hey, like, I sent a text message like 2 nights ago. I was like, hey, look, I have nothing else to do for you. However, mess around with the laser engraver. We have to, let me just read it out to you, honestly. But I try to be, I try to do my best to deliver and communicate with my team as best as possible on the mediums that they are most comfortable with. Like, some of them are texters, some of them are mostly emailers, some of them are phone conversationers, and that's the most difficult because my boy's in Iraq right now, so I can't just be like, hey, let's have a call, because he has to inbound call to me. But yeah, like, Tuesday at 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. excuse me. Read through the books when it comes in, play around with the laser engraver, meet Lynette, co-founder, next month to assist her in the education connections at Berkeley. If you can meet with Cadence Systems, Cadence Systems is a publicly owned company. They designed one of the chips that we want to manufacture, or at least not manufacture, but embed in one of our products that we've designed. If you can meet with Cadence Systems just to check them out, that'd be cool. Same with Essential Phone, because we found out they have a fund for innovative research as well. And I was like, because he lives in San Bruno, so it's a lot easier for him to do this type of stuff. If you have the time to go to Essential, find out how to get information from them, and how to do along those things. Still need to talk to Bill from Makerspace. And then we started talking about like side hustling things that we want to do later, like whether we're DJing or whether we have marijuana medication lounges here in Las Vegas or in California, since it's been legalized. Like, there's a lot of things that I try to do outside of the scope of the business I'm talking about, just to continue side hustling. And your side hustles are an important stream of revenue to keep you funded for everything else. Second question: what's my personal daily development routine like? Bro, let me tell you that here in a second about my businesses. Do you listen to podcasts, read blog posts, etc.? I'll answer. Let me answer that one real quick. I don't listen to podcasts or blog posts or anything like that, and that's just me personally, because how do I say this? I don't try to follow people, not because I don't, not just for the sake of not following them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just going to be an outsider just for the sake of being an outsider. I like to sit on the edge of things because I know if everybody's doing this, there's not going to be a lot of, like, okay. One of the best books that I've read about this that kind of like resonated with me was 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. And it was such a good book. It was it's, and I have a list of these resources here at the end of this presentation, but it was literally like, everybody is so fascinated with competition and looking over their back of what everyone else is doing that you're never going to actually innovate anything. So I try my best to keep them at arm's length, or keep these blogs, these posts, all of these different things at arm's length. I know they're there, but if I'm focused on what everyone else is doing, or like listening to what someone else is telling me on how to live my life or how to start a business, I'm just going to be following them. There's no actual innovation in my life. There's no actual independence. You know what I'm saying? As far as like blog posts is concerned, like, again, I have a list of the things that I've read. Don't get me wrong. I read here. Let me just scroll up. Like, I have a lot of different lists that I've read, whether it's education, psychological understanding, philosophical understanding, excuse me, business, legal, design, networking, prevalent. Or I have a bias towards networking, math, finance, productivity tools, speeches, etc. But a lot of this is stuff that I sought out because I needed to seek them out. You know what I mean? It's not because I want to see like A, B, C, D, and then A subcategory A, subcategory A, B, subcategory A, C of like what they exactly did to be successful, because now you're just following someone else. It's not actually your dream. Like, you're an entrepreneur. Like, you have to follow your own dream. Okay. Oh, shit. Hold on. I'm on Discord. Hey, what's up, dude? Hey, I'm doing a talk right now. I forgot I was in here. I'll be back in like an hour. I totally forgot. So I'm on Discord. If you don't know what Discord is, it's kind of like another app like Slack, but for video gaming. I am a heavy video gamer. Yeah. So let's keep going. When and where do you get my best ideas? The shower, after sleep, during sleep. When and where I get my best ideas, honestly, it comes from a variety of different places. Whether it was from work, whether it was from outside of work, whether it was from personal experiences that I have, or personal struggles that I've had to deal with, and trying to solve that, and then trying to solve it. If I have this problem, don't other people have this problem? So that's kind of where it happens. And I remember reading this YouTube video of a guy who runs an accelerator. I think it's 1871 or something, where he was like, most of these ideas come from the cross section of different, industries or different areas of expertise. It's only in between those cross sections will you actually have like real, true innovation. Like, one off the top of my head that I wish I could explore, but I know I can't, would be, hydroponic and hydroponic/aquaponic water filtration with like a 90% reduction in farming for biodiesel farms, like for biofuel farms, basically for biofuels. Current pain points and how am I mitigating them? I'll talk about that in a second. Has he said how much sleep he gets and how does he sleep? Like, I'll talk about that too. Not just gaming, I use it for stocks. Okay, anyway, let's move on, because I feel like a lot of the questions that you guys will have will be answered here in just a second. And we're just gonna move on towards my businesses. Okay, so these are the things that I actually run. You can have the link down here. First one is Battle Buddy. is an authentic veteran connectivity platform. And I'm only going to say a platform because it's not an app. It's not something that's only software. It's actually a physical product that we have designed. We have gone through the early stages of patenting, and we are constantly having to actually innovate this. This is one of our biggest expenses right now. I mean, we're talking 3D printing, we're talking about soldering, we're talking, coding in MicroPython. Like, a lot of what I've had to do to get this set up has been a period of continuous learning. Since 2016, I had to learn I had to learn Python, MicroPython, and then Ruby. I had to learn how to solder. I had to learn how to manufacture something on circuit board designs. I needed to know actual pricing points, like of how much we're going to sell a product. Who are we going to sell the product to? Is this business to consumer, or is this business to business? And a whole lot of things. Anyway, outside of that, outside of our new market gamble, and I'm kind of just going down the list here, new market versus existing market, and it's a product and service, and it's wholly owned by Lido Corp. That is my information technology consultancy. Let me move over here. Okay, everything just fucked up. It is my information technology consultancy. It is an existing market. IT is existing. It is a portion of the community. A portion of a business that is required in order to be successful. The back and forth sending of email, of data, of data analytics, data science, everything that resolves to some sort of DNS query, right? Like, is what I do. That is a service, and we are probably just going to be reselling products from Cisco, VMware, IBM, NetApp, whatever, because that is a market that I know will constantly generate revenue for us, and is our bread and butter service to fund our gambles. These are something called NAICS codes, which this one is our primary, and I have actually a list of a definition of what they are actually are. NAICS codes are what the government uses to look for you, okay, to look for your service. So NAICS codes 517311 is wired telecommunication carriers. Okay. 541512 is computer systems and design services. 517410 is satellite communications. 515111 is radio networks, and 611699 is all other miscellaneous schools and instruction. That is network systems instruction, certification training, and STEM/STEAM outreach. Okay, this is how we contract with the federal government. And you can look all of that stuff later. These are just web fronts. Honestly, I don't do any business on websites, and I think people need to get away from thinking that websites are the definition of what a good business is, because it's just like one little tiny slice of what actually is a business. That's kind of why I hate Silicon Valley for that. These are certifications. This is an SDVOSB, otherwise known as a service disabled veteran owned small business. I am service disabled and I wholly own the company. You have to an SDVOSB or excuse me, a service disabled veteran or a group of service disabled veterans have to own 51% of the company or more. Okay, minority owned small business. You can just look at my eyes, hella Asian, and emerging small business, ESB. This comes from the Procurement Technical Assistance Center, which will follow after this slide. There's other programs out there that we want to have initiatives on getting through the certification process, whether it's an ACDBE, which is an airport concessions disadvantaged business enterprise. That way you can do like contracts with the Department of Transportation or any of the local airports that might need communication services. That's kind of the initiatives that we're also going for. Let me see here. Yep, that should be everything. And here are the actual resources that I use or have used. And the best part about all of this is that it's free. All of it is free. Okay, the SBA, and we're actually gonna walk through this because I think it is absolutely crucial. And I had this open up earlier. You know, they just had the SBA just redesigned their website in the middle of 2017. As I looked at it, and I was like, wow, everything is so clean. So clean. Find a small business planner. 10 steps to starting a business. Do I qualify for government contracts? Top 10 cybersecurity tips. All this is here right now for the SBA. And we'll start here. Qualify. Actually, no, we're not going to start there. We're going to start. Can I just start here? Perfect. Look at this. Look how simple that is. Plan your business, launch your business, manage your business, grow your business. You've got a great idea. Now make a plan to turn into a great business. Turn your business into a reality. All of these things. Look at market research and competitive analysis. Write your business plan. Startup costs. Fund your business. Buy an existing business franchise. Blah blah blah. Location, structure, name, registration, federal and state EIN, licenses and permits, business bank accounts, finances, employees, taxes, compliances, equipment, sales, marketing, emergencies, close, sell your business, fund, more funding. All of this stuff is here for the SBA, just waiting to be used. Waiting to be used. The path to venture capitalism and whatever else nonsense that they have going in Silicon Valley, ignore that. Okay, this is how you do business. All right, this is how you do business. Loans. If you need a loan, you need a business loan from a bank or someone else. You know, private equity. Do this stuff. Grants, like just like at the very end of it for the small business innovation research. This is funded by grants.gov, which is also funded by the SBA. Let's just go back here because I want to talk about this portion right here. When you're actually at the beginning of starting, okay, you have traditional business plans, which is your master's in business administration, 10-step plan, executive summary, guidelines, forecasting of financial documents. What is your competitive advantage? All of that stuff is there. If you want to go in that route and if you want to go in the traditional path, go for it. Or you can do the lean startup plan, okay, which is like this is where I started. Well, okay, let me back up a little bit. Let me back up a little bit. I started with the traditional business plan back in 2014 when I first incorporated while I was in college. It is 100% BS. Like, how are you going to predict the future of how much money you're going to make if you're starting with zero? Do you know what I'm saying? Like how can you actually predict that? How can you predict a market that doesn't exist yet? So that's why I believe that the traditional business plan really didn't work. The traditional business plan is really good if you are resegmenting an existing market. If you are wanting to sell logistical services for transport in between, I don't know, Nigeria and Kenya, or like the Horn of Africa and Saudi Arabia, okay, cool. We know what logistics transport is. We know the estimate cost. But if you're telling me I want to go to Pluto, how are you actually going to get to Pluto? How much is it going to cost? Like, that is not going to be in your purview. The lean startup plan, or otherwise known as the business model canvas or the lean model canvas, was a great way to start and say, hey, I have this problem. Let me just pull it up. Okay, here, just ignore all this other stuff, but here we go. Canvanizer. Oh, lean stack. Okay, here, this puts it really, really quick. Problem, solution, unique value proposition, key activity, cost structure, etc. Okay, it makes it really simple for you to get something started. And I think I have an account here. Sign in. It doesn't even matter, but you can see it kind of here in small detail. You have a problem, you have a solution, your unique value proposition, your customer segment, channels, revenue streams, key metrics, cost structure, solution. And honestly, the most important part of this entire thing is the problem, the possibility of how you're going to solve it, and then this is how you are different. Your unique value proposition and who the customer segment is going to be. Okay, once you get these two right, that's called product market fit. And once you have product market fit, like, you're good to go. You're golden. You can figure it out, and then you can iterate from there. You can either innovate and iterate from there, or you can pivot into something else. It looks like we only have about 8 minutes here. 10 minutes if you really want to keep it to an hour. But I just realized how much more stuff is going to do. But again, the lean canvas is a great way to start Like, let me show it here. It's a little bit messy, but like I have one here. You see that? It's dirty. I don't use it anymore, but I just now write notes. But trust me, before I had things laid out and iterated, and I said, hey, this is how we're going to do it. This is our cost structure. Here's our revenue streams. Here are the people that we're going to partner with. You know, I have to go out and do. I have to go out and do my market research to try to figure out if there is an actual market for this and all these other things. Okay, that's how I ended up where I am now with Battle Buddy, actually. Look, I still have it open. You know, The Startup Owner's Manual by Steve Blank, an amazing book. This is where I started, and I don't ever pander stuff that I don't ever use. So like this is stuff that I use. Okay. And the SBA is everywhere. I mean, I go down to downtown Las Vegas and I talk to them, and everyone there is super helpful, and they're just like, okay, it looks like you got your stuff together. Like let's get started in getting you funded or getting you put into the 8A contract. Like, make sure you have plans. After that, after starting at the SBA, again, all of these come from the SBA, don't get me wrong. But the SBA is a great place to start. Now the PTAX, the Procurement Technical Assistance Center, if you want to get into the field of government contracting or actually getting procurements, whether it's going through the request for proposals process, or the pre-solicitation, well, you don't know this, but it goes through this really, really long process of pre-solicitation, solicitation, request for information, and request for quote or request for proposals, and then they'll issue an award. There are so many contracts out there available right now, billions and billions of dollars of contracts, like literally just sitting there waiting for small businesses to take up the mantle and say, yes, I can do this, and we can deliver it at a good cost to the U.S. government because we can do it better. And there's so many inefficiencies right now with the U.S. government that it's better for the private citizens to do it anyway. If you believe that, then just get on this. Let's start. All right. If you are still in the military, go to Boots to Business, which is on behalf of the Small Business Development Centers of America, which is on behalf of the SBA, Small Business Administration. You can see it right here. I attended one of these. I attended a Boots to Business reboot for veterans who have gone out and wanted to learn more. And, at the point of where I was, it was just kind of an understanding, a recap of the foundations that I've already got, but it's still good to go. If you feel like you have some sort of idea that you want to bring to market and you want some help, or you want some other veterans that you might want to connect with. I mean, I still talk to a wonderful lady by the name of Dale who's starting her 4th career as a farmer up in northern Las Vegas. She's like, I don't know, in her mid 60s or maybe late 60s, but amazing people that you'll meet at these types of events. And then the Veteran Business Outreach Centers, or the VBOCs, are just, let me just read it off here. Designed to provide entrepreneurial development services such as business training, counseling, and resource partner referrals to transitioning service members, veterans, and interested in starting or growing a small business. Boom, done. Go talk to them. And then lastly, as I mentioned before, the SBIRs or STRRs. Just go, or STTRs. The SBIRs are a highly competitive program that encourages domestic small business to engage in federal research and development that has the potential for commercialization. If you really think you got something there that's like nobody else has done before, reach out to these guys. And they have a bunch of different topics. They have a bunch of different topics that they want people to bid for. Power energy, intelligent autonomous electric power systems, air vehicle technology. Go design an actual flying plane. Like there is so much stuff out there that if you want to take the risk to pursue, then do it, because you will find funding if it aligns with the goals of the U.S. government. Second part of resources. This kind of answers the questions of the books, resources, blogs, stuff that I've used to do my research. And I opened this previously. I mean, I've opened this previously, and you can see just like it's a lot of reading. You know, all of this is reading, and then these are more just the resources that I've used to actually start to start my business and start my startup. How to Build a Startup by Steve Blank. This is a course on Udacity, the Startup Owner's Manual. Again, I literally have it right here. Like, this is a godsend of a book. Art of the Start, again, right here. I lost mine, so I borrowed my friend's. Like, all of this stuff is there, available to you. Like, this is what worked for me. You know, you're gonna have to find out what resources are gonna work for you, but these are the ones that work for me. Business model generation, Y Combinator plus the Harvard CS 183B, How to Start a Startup. These are courses as well as a PDF. You can find this online. You can just read the stories that these entrepreneurs and businessmen and women tell you that they've gone through, and you're just like, wow, thanks for letting me know. Like, thanks for teaching me all these things that I wish I had known. Hooked is great if you want to, if you want product development lifecycle. Start a playbook, Founders at Work, 0-1. Like, all of this is there. I'll give it to you all on the slides later, but this is kind of where I started back in 2016. What isn't listed since January of last year and March now, Innovator's Dilemma by Clay Christensen. The Hard Thing About Hard Things, shout out. This is probably the best book of my 20s, really. The Hard Thing About Hard Things. Once you're at the point when you're actually starting a business, like, this will speak volumes to you. Managing Yourself by Harvard Business Review, When, Being the Boss, Getting a Yes, Founder's Pocket Guide. I mean, all of these are just literally behind me, and I read, and I just pick it up and read it all the time. I wish I had more time to read. We're about to run out of time here, so again, big shout outs to UNLV. The director there is Ross Bryant of the student veteran organization there, Rebel Vets, and the director there, Leith Martin, who's just been super down, homie. That basically brought me down this path before. I literally walked into his office and I was like, hey, look, I don't know anything. I'm not a student here, but I want to start my own business. This is what I got. He was like, cool, go read this, and this, which was the Steve Blank entrepreneurship course, started. How to Build a Startup, this one. Like, that's literally where I started. I started there and I kept going, and I was like, okay, cool, I know what I'm doing now. Let me move on. Turns out I didn't know what I was doing, but that's where I'm starting. Okay, two more things before we wrap up here. Firstly, somebody asked me what my daily routine. Mission Model Canvas, I like that. Somebody asked here earlier, what is my daily routine? Right? What's my personal daily development routine like? And honestly, I'm just gonna give you my routine of what happened in the last couple of weeks or so. Let's put it that way, because I am a person that doesn't follow routine. Like, I know people are just like, oh, you need to get in a routine. You need to get in a habit of working out, gym, and eating and doing that thing. It's like, my routine is so chaotic that I literally have to just go by day to tell you what it's like, because it works for me, but it doesn't work for anyone else. Like, I say, I'm working out today. I feel good. And I'm going to take a rest day tomorrow. I'm going to take a day after that. Can I fit that in? Oh, I cannot, because I have an appointment. Okay, therefore I'll just move that over. Like, that is how I view my life. So let's go back to, let's go with March 1st today. Okay. Let's go back a little bit. I never had to use a calendar until September of 2017. I still remember it clearly when I realized, oh my God, I have succumbed to my human limitations and I cannot remember everything that I need to do anymore. Now I actually have to use a calendar. I was so adamantly against it, but now I have to, and I'm still kind of salty about it. March 1st, Airbnb. I run an Airbnb as a side hustle here in my house. Make slides. I had a 3 p.m. talk at at my co-working space downtown, but I didn't have time for it because I was on the phone. That's okay. I'll just move that over. Day before, in the morning, called Crowbro whenever, clean my house, and that took basically everything. of my time. QuickBooks and Airtable, learn, within the afternoon. Never got to it. Fix Airtable hook for Jen. Never got to it. But you know what? I know it's there. I'm just going to slide that over to the next day. I have 5 different certification processes I need to go to: ESB, DBE, SBE, CVE. There's other things I need to get done. That was the day before. That was the 27th. I made some progress on all of them, but I also know it's not done. And I just slid all of that over. Monday, the 26th, I needed to get those NACE codes that I put in. 3 of them are new. I had to visit NACE codes in the morning, or I had to visit the PTAC here in Las Vegas in the morning because I needed to get those in. I needed to visit my CPA, who I just signed up for, because I needed a new accountant because tax season, and I wanted to do things right for the business. Like that was something that I accomplished. Yay, cool, and for the rest of the day, I went to my hackerspace because I needed to figure out how to get our chip functioning with one of the new models that we got from Expressive, and I also wanted to go Boulder because the gym is nearby the hackerspace. And I was like, cool, I got those things done. But some of the things I didn't get done. Investigate a company because I was interested in a company here. I never got a chance to do that. Let me move that down because I forgot to. Tomorrow I have a workshop and I have to pick up stuff from SynShop, which is the hackerspace that I go to out here. That's kind of like what my week is. Like it is a clustered mess that I manage personally, and I know a lot of people don't. I mean, they have a 7 a.m. I have to do this, 8 a.m. I have to do that, 9 a.m. I have to do this. Mine is more like, all right, I have a morning and I want to get this done. When can I do it? Also, I'm hungry. Like logistically speaking, can I drive here and get that done, and then also drive off and drop off my dry cleaning or something. Like yesterday was kind of a wash. I didn't get to do anything because my tire went flat. But it was just like, all right, cool. I'll spend the next 3 hours here because they have to go pick up one of the run flats that wasn't near. Like, I'm digressing here, but I mean, it's just flexibility is really key, and ensuring that you don't stress out over the small little mistakes that are completely out of your control is going to hopefully keep you afloat. Like, I don't know, my companies aren't cash flow positive right now. Like, I know that, but I've also not had a job since May of 2016, and I'm still solvent because, I mean, we can talk about finance and making sure that you live within your means, or ensure that you plan way out for the future, and you have emergency safety nets upon safety net upon safety net to ensure that you don't lose money, because money is the lifeblood of having any of this happen. But as long as you get that down, then everything else kind of just falls into place. Yeah, I can talk about the importance of having a side hustle, when you have financial problems. Like, yeah, I run Airbnb, I'm a VP of an investment club. We have a couple of things that we want to, I have a buddy of mine who I work with at Fob Shank, who lives here nearby in Las Vegas, where we want to start up our own little lounge here or something for those who want to Medicaid. My co-founder, we want to do something in the entertainment industry, whether that's like music or planning for events and things like that. Like, there's a lot that you can do. Just realize you have to be like, you have to know what is a good value time-wise and energy-wise, not just like monetarily, but time and energy-wise. Like, ensure that you have good values, good value there. I can talk for hours on that, but I kind of want to wrap this up to the very, very last portion of what I'm trying to talk about here. And that's risk. Okay, risk is probably the one thing that will define your future as an entrepreneur. Okay, like your tolerance for risk, or what you are comfortable with, is going to be what your business is going to be comfortable with. Okay. I started investing in 2012 in the stock market. I was making a lot of money as a contractor overseas, and I had buku loads of money. I had to figure out how to manage this. I had to know what my gambles were, and thankfully I've been successful. But I also know my own risk tolerance is not the same as someone else's risk tolerance. If you have just retired, or you are much older and you can't afford to risk your house or your family or your partner's savings, then don't. Don't do that. Like, understand your level of risk. What I'm doing is perfectly acceptable in my own level of risk tolerance. I want to do what I can, because if I can afford to lose everything on this plan, I will. And that's just me. That's just how I operate within my mode, because I believe in myself and I believe in what we're doing. And I think everyone else who's worked with me feels the same way. But I'm also young. I'm in my mid-20s and I can afford to do this. I've been blessed with the opportunities that's been given to me. I've been blessed with really, really good parents who've supported me into this entire process. And I've somehow found people that are willing to tolerate my bullshit and follow me. Like, that's amazing. Like, all of this has been really, really amazing. Every day has been hard as hell, but I don't hate it. I mean, I gripe and I complain and I'm just like, oh, I hate my life, but I really, really love it. Like, it's like, I wouldn't trade this for anything else. Like there were moments in weakness last year. I want to say maybe March of 2017 or like April of 2017, especially. Like, this is where I did not have a team yet. Like, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I'm like in and out of this, like, oh, like my resume's out. Like, you can look at my resume on LinkedIn. I can get a job again. You know what I mean? Like, I was ready to just be like, just one more contract overseas in Germany or in Afghanistan, make another quick, 6-figure salary, like nobody's business. It would be easy. It would be easy work too, but I decided against it. I said, no, I don't want to go back to that. I left government contracting for a reason. I left what I was doing because it didn't agree with my own morals. It didn't agree with my ethics. It didn't agree with my core values of what I wanted out of life. Okay, and I just didn't feel like killing people anymore, or supporting an organization that's killing people. I love defense, but I love defense. Like, again, more stuff that we can talk about, more reasons why, but I'll digress from that part. Okay, like, we can, if you want to talk, we can talk offline about that, but understand what you are willing to give up to pursue your dreams. If it's X amount of hours in a day, if it's only a weekend, if it's only a couple hours, like, you have to, like, my teammates, the people who work for me, they all have full-time jobs. One of my boys is in Iraq. One of my works at like they are across the pond and still wanting to work for me, and I'm so grateful for that. You know what I'm saying? They believe in me somehow enough, and I believe in them even more so, that they're willing to follow me and they're willing to help me out when I need help, and I'm willing to help them whenever possible in whatever format. So I understand that when I'm losing $2,000-3,000 a month because I have to, whether or not I have to go fly to meet my team, or whether or not product development is just taking way too damn long and I have to figure out how to seek expert advice. Like, I'm driving to USC next week so I can talk to a couple of these professors who are old and crusty, but I believe in their technology because I read their white papers and I'm like, this is amazing. Please help me somehow. I don't know, but like, understand what you are willing to sacrifice, understand what you are willing to risk. And I think you would be absolutely successful in whatever you do if you choose to run your own small business or go down the path of entrepreneurship like I have. Thank you. Thanks for listening. We're a little bit over in time here. If you have any questions, again, you can just reach out to me. My email address is there. You can just @ me on Operation Code Slack. These three channels are the ones that I kind of frequent: town hall, entrepreneurship, and networking. And that's it. That's all I got for now. Okay. Oh God. What Airtable hook? Well, I'd made this Google Forms for Jen, and it was the first time I made a Google form. But she was like, "Can you hook this up on Airtable?" And I'm like, "What the hell is an Airtable?" I'm like, "Okay, whatever." And I had to use like Zapier or something. And apparently, you can do an API call and it's be like, as soon as this fills out, it can be sent straight to an Airtable. But I just haven't had the time to look that over. Let me actually.
Hey, Lito, you want to say goodbye to your live stream?
Sure.
And we'll stay in our town hall.
Okay, sure. Thanks everyone for joining me, whoever's on the live stream. If you had questions on there and if you got a little chat, I honestly don't see it because we're doing it in such a weird way right now. I'm sure we can clean this up later, but if you have any questions, again, you can just reach out to me, preferably on the Operation Code Slack, because it's a great group of people. To bring it back 15 months, my initial market research on this, when I first noticed the problem of veteran transition and the lack of communication that veterans have between each other, I actually reached out to the CTO, the chief technology officer of Operation Code at the time, Rick Ryan, or Ricker, and I just sent them an email. I literally Googled veteran coding. So I don't remember what I Googled up, but I found Operation Code, and I was like, oh, there's a Slack. What the hell is a Slack? So I go on Slack. I go just chill out. I send Rick an email. We start talking, and it started from like, it didn't just start from there, but it was like one of those points in which supported me moving forward. And you need those things. You need those people that can help you along the way. And the list of people that have helped me, like, it's just immense to even. Sorry, it's just immense to try to recall. Like, I can recall them, but Ross, Jeff, Justin, Rick, Maggie Molina, God bless. All of these people had supported me throughout the entirety of what I was doing, and that really, really, really helped. Like getting a lean canvas set up or getting a splash page set up on LaunchRock or on Weebly or something. Like I learned that here. I had like Ruby problems. I was in like the Ruby channel before. Like I was literally learning this as I was going. Or if there was a Python problem, like I could probably just like look at Kyle's history and be like, oh, okay, that's how you do it. Like there's a lot of things, or like doing a pull request on GitHub, like going through that process. And then I ran one of my employees to that process because, again, she's in school. She's a dual major at Berkeley. I wanted to give her some like real world experience of what it'd like to be working at a startup that's not a BS level startup. Like we're doing actual work. Like, hey, I need you to know how to get from lines of code to an actual like a VirtualBox instance, or Docker containerization, and then building that up towards a GitHub backend repo. Like, and this is how you submit a PR for that. Like, there's a whole training process that we had to establish in order to get that to work. And I know I'm talking details now of a lot of the technological side of things, but this is really what I learned throughout Operation Code. And like, it's not like somebody held my hand through this. It's just like, all right, are you willing and able enough to learn what it is that you need to learn to be successful here? And me personally, like that's the type of people I look for. Like when it comes to hiring, my hiring rubric is 3 things. And these 3 things come from Colonel James Clifford of Joint Special Operations Command, Joint Communications Unit, who I was augmented to between 2014 and 2016, hoo-ha, tier 1. But he was like, we hire for 3 things. Aptitude, can you do the work? Attitude, will you do the work? And then the 3rd one is cultural fit. Like, and the last one is kind of hard to nail down, but there's a lot of tests that you can do to determine whether or not someone's a good fit for your organization. And I like the 6-hour flight test that comes from Ben Horowitz's book, The Hard Thing About Hard Things. Like, don't focus on their weaknesses, focus on their strengths. And if you can have a meaningful conversation with somebody for 6 hours when your flight is delayed, then I think that person's good for your team. Another key factor when it comes to like hiring, comes from Guy Kawasaki's book, The Art of Start. And it's kind of an introspective question too, is when you had your first job, okay, like outside of the military maybe, but when you had your first job, were you fully qualified to do the job that you were tasked to do? And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a no. Like you were never nearly close to qualified, and you have to understand that when you look for hiring. and then the follow-up question is like, are they trainable? Like, again, do they have the aptitude and attitude to continuously do work or to continuously learn? And those are the type of people that I look for. If you don't follow that, then I just fire you. I've gotten really good at the firing part. I'm just kidding. But that's it. I actually want to add one more thing to this, and that is for the Battle Buddy. And it's actually a Medium article that I had posted in the hashtag mental health channel here. I put it in the town hall too. Excuse me. Anyway, sorry again. I kind of drove off, but thanks for all of those who are viewing me on YouTube. I'll post a slide post these slides somewhere. If you want to take a look to see, again, all the resources that I've used, all the things that I've looked at, and for all the things I don't look at. You know, if it's not on there, I probably don't look at it. I don't know. I'll run through that in a second, but this is what I'm doing. Again, this is mental health in Slack. Really cool people there. This falls onto it's not trademark. I'll probably have to change that at some point, honestly, but that's where we are. Thanks again.